The Story of the Mask. The story begins with a man swimming in the sea. While swimming, he happens to find an old chest. When he opens that chest, a green mask emerges from it. After this, we see Stanley. He was working in a bank. He said to one of his female colleagues, "I have 2 tickets for a big show. Will you come with me?" But that girl replied, "A friend of mine loves such shows very much." Saying this, she flirted with him. In the end, she took both those tickets. Poor Stanley had to give them to her. He did not go to see the show. As soon as that girl left, Stanley's friend came to him and asked, "When will you improve? Don't you understand that everyone is taking advantage of you?" It was then that the extremely beautiful Tina entered the bank. Seeing Tina, Stanley and his friend were completely stunned. Tina placed her bag on the table and started talking to Stanley. She wanted to open a new account in the bank, but in reality, there was a hidden camera in Tina's bag. It was recording all parts of the bank. Her boyfriend was planning to rob the bank, and Tina had come to help him. However, our poor Stanley knew nothing about this. Stanley liked Tina very much. "What a beautiful girl she was," he told his friend. "Leave her. You can see better girls at the party tonight," his friend replied. It was then that Stanley remembered his car was broken. How would he go to the party tonight? When he went to the garage, the mechanic said, "It will take time to fix this. If it's urgent, take my car." The mechanic's car was in very bad condition. Forced by circumstances, Stanley had to take that terrible car. When he reached the place where the party was being held, the guards did not let him in. "This place is not for people like you. Come when you have money," they said. Stanley felt very insulted. He left that place. While returning near a bridge, that bad car broke down again. He was already upset, and this incident made him even angrier. In anger, he got out of the car and looked into the water in the darkness. He felt as if he saw a body lying in the water. Perhaps he might be alive, Stanley thought. Without thinking, he jumped into the water. When he dove in and reached there, he realized it wasn't a human, but a heap of trash. But there, he found the green mask shown at the beginning of the story. Stanley found the mask very interesting. Its design was also very beautiful. Therefore, he happily brought the mask home. Stanley had a dog. When the dog saw the mask, it started barking loudly. Stanley struggled to calm the dog and then stood in front of the mirror and thought, "What if I try this on? How will it look?" As soon as he put on the mask, it stuck to his face. He tried a lot, but he couldn't take the mask off. It felt as if it had completely merged with his face. Stanley's face turned green. His character and behavior changed. It felt as if it wasn't Stanley standing there, but someone else. He started dancing strangely. His energy increased. When he stepped out of the flat, a woman saw him and got scared. That woman also had a green face pack on her face, but Stanley had become like a cartoon character. Terrified, the woman took a gun. To escape from her, Stanley jumped down through the window. He didn't even care which floor he was jumping from. When he hit the ground, he bounced up like a crazy ball. On the road, he came in front of a car. The driver honked the horn loudly. Then Stanley said, "Only you know how to honk?" He took a small horn from his pocket, but when he blew it, it made a huge sound. Because of the sound, all the glass of the car shattered. The poor driver's hair stood up. After that, Stanley went to the mechanic who fixed his car. He was insulted because of that bad car. In anger, he destroyed everything there. After doing so many strange things, he reached home exhausted and fell asleep. The next day, when Stanley woke up, his face was back to normal, as if nothing had happened. He didn't know how the mask had come off. When he looked in the mirror, he remembered some things that happened at night. He thought it was a dream. Then someone knocked on his flat door. It was a policeman. "Do you remember anything that happened last night?" he asked. The woman who was scared of him was also with the policeman. "A man wearing a green mask was wandering around here. He was very terrifying," she said. Stanley realized it was him. "I don't know anything, sir. I was sleeping soundly," he said. The policeman left. Stanley took the mask and said, "This prompts me to do strange things. I don't think this mask is right for me." Saying this, he threw the mask out of the window and left the room, but the mask returned to the room on its own. Later, Stanley reached the office. The bank manager scolded him. "Why are you late? Is this your father's bank?" Stanley talked about his illness. "I wasn't feeling well. I couldn't sleep well at night." But the manager didn't listen and scolded him more. When he reached home, Stanley was very sad. He was silent. Then his eyes fell on a newspaper. It had Tina's photo in it. She was a singer. She was going to perform live at the same club from which he was kicked out. "I must go to that club at any cost," Stanley decided. But the problem was that only rich people were allowed there. The entry pass was too expensive for him to buy. It was then that his eyes fell on the green mask again. It was still lying on the sofa. He was surprised, remembering that he had thrown it out, but Stanley thought that this mask had come into his life to help him. "Let me try one more time," he decided. He put on the mask again. When he wore the mask, his face turned green again. He magically changed his clothes and ran to the same bank where he worked to find money to go to the club. When Stanley reached the bank, Tina's friends were also there. Their plan was to rob the bank that day. While they were thinking outside the bank how to commit the robbery, Stanley smashed the glass of the bank and jumped out. He scolded everyone from outside. "Is this how you rob a bank? I'm going to rob it before you," he said. Saying this, he ran from there with lightning speed. He ran so fast that no one could see him. Suddenly, the police arrived. Seeing the group in black clothes, they thought they were thieves and started firing. The members of the gang also fired back. Taking the opportunity, they escaped from there. Meanwhile, Stanley arrived outside the club in a big limousine. He gave a lot of money to the bouncer and went inside. Tina was singing and performing at the bar. Stanley went to her and started dancing with her very happily. Tina also enjoyed his high-speed dance moves. She thought Stanley was a very rich man. It was then that Tina's friends, who had planned to rob the bank, came there. The members of the gang told their leader that the person dancing with Tina was the one who robbed the bank. On the leader Dorian's instructions, everyone fired at Stanley. But because Stanley was faster than lightning, no one's bullet touched him. The police also arrived quickly at the club. "We first saw you outside the bank, and now you are shooting in the bar. Do you know how big a crime it is to endanger the lives of the public?" the police told Tina's friends. The police arrested everyone. "If it is proven that you robbed the bank, we will release you," the police said. "If the truth is to be proven, that green-faced man must be found, because he is the real thief," Dorian, the gang leader, told the policeman. Then the police officer saw a piece of Stanley's tie. He remembered seeing a tie like this with the man in that flat. The policeman thought that perhaps Stanley might have committed the robbery in the bank. "You cannot come to this club with your salary," the police officer said. "Is this your tie? How did you go to that bar? You're just an ordinary bank employee." Stanley lied. "I didn't go to the bar. I was looking for my tie. Thank you for finding it. It was lost." The next day, when Stanley went to the bank, the boss scolded him again. "If you get angry at me again, I will hit you," Stanley said. Then Tina came to the bank to see Stanley. "Don't you see new people every day? Do you know a green-faced man?" Tina asked Stanley. She thought someone had painted their face. Stanley didn't tell her the truth. "Yes, I know him. If you want, I can show him to you at night," Stanley said. Tina was happy, and they decided on a time and place. Stanley went home. "I must find something out about this mask," he thought. He went with the mask to a mask expert. That man knew everything about various masks in the world. There was a god named Loki. He was very mischievous. He had a mask with powers like you describe, the expert said. This might be that mask. When I wear this, I become someone other than myself, Stanley said. To prove it, Stanley put on the mask, but nothing happened. Don't waste my time. Leave from here, the expert said. It was then that Stanley realized that this mask might work only at night or only when alone. It became night. He had to go to see Tina. Stanley arrived at the place wearing the mask. It was then that the police arrived there. They were following Stanley. The police surrounded Tina and Stanley. Tina got scared and ran from there. Stanley stood there, but in the fun of the mask, he forgot that the police were looking at him. When the policemen surrounded him, Stanley screamed in a strange voice. Hearing his scream, everyone's mind merged into the magic of the mask and everyone came under his control. Within 2 seconds, the policemen started dancing with him. Taking this chance, Stanley ran to the next street. He took off the mask and became normal Stanley. Then a girl arrived there in a car. She was a friend of Stanley's. Seeing him in a scared state, she took him in the car. This girl was a reporter. "I will tell your story to the world. Tell me what happened," she said. Poor Stanley told her all the truth. "I have a mask. When I wear it, I change completely. The police are also looking for me." But here is where the story took a dangerous turn. Stanley didn't know that this reporter girl was working with Dorian's gang. Dorian gave money to that reporter to bring Stanley to him. He also promised a big reward for this. After that, the thugs captured Stanley and tortured him a lot. They hung him upside down. Soon, Dorian arrived there. He started asking Stanley questions. "Tell me how this mask works or you will lose your life." "You could have asked with love. I would have told you. Let me go. Wear this mask, then you will understand everything," Stanley said. As soon as Dorian put on the mask, his face turned green. He became like a dangerous villain. He got special powers. "I will not give this mask to anyone," he decided. He feared that if the police saw him wearing the green mask, they would consider him the bank robber. Dorian planned to plant a fake mask in Stanley's pocket and have him arrested. Dorian's thugs went to Stanley's house to take the money Stanley had stolen from the bank. However, Stanley's dog, Milo, was hiding and saw all this. The dog saw his owner tied up inside the car. When the thieves left with the money, Milo followed the thugs and reached the jail. By then, Dorian had made a fake mask. According to the plan, he put that mask in Stanley's pocket. The plan was to make the police believe that Stanley was the real person who wore the green mask. Dorian's people took Stanley and threw him in front of the police. The police found the mask in his pocket. Without thinking, they threw him in jail. When she heard this, Tina came to see Stanley in jail. This time, Stanley told her the whole truth. "The green-faced man who danced with you was me, but I don't have that mask now. Your friend Dorian snatched it. He's very dangerous. You must stop him," Stanley continued. "The power of the mask is a reflection of the mind of the person who wears it. I am kind and loving, so I did funny and strange things, but Dorian is very evil. Now he will not only rob the bank, but also the whole city. He will destroy everything." "How can I stop him alone?" Tina asked. "I am leaving the city." Hearing Stanley's words, she understood how bad a person Dorian was. She decided she would never see him again. After that, she left the jail. But Dorian was suspicious of her. He sent his men after Tina. On the other side, Stanley's dog Milo reached the jail following the thugs. The guard was sleeping. Milo took the key from his pocket without making a sound and released Stanley from the lockup. Just then, a policeman came there, but Stanley pointed a gun and escaped from there. Meanwhile, Dorian kidnapped Tina. When he wore the mask, he became more dangerous than Stanley. His face was more hideous, terrifying, and strange. He went to a bar filled with gangs. All the big thugs of the city were there. "From today, I'm your leader. If anyone has an objection, come forward," Dorian said. The thugs didn't like this behavior. They started firing at Dorian. But with the power of the mask, Dorian absorbed all the bullets into his body and then started spitting them back from his mouth. Thus, he killed everyone who attacked him. After that, he tied Tina up. He placed a time bomb near her. "Didn't you betray me? Now run away," he said. It was then that Stanley also reached there. Tina very politely told Dorian, "I admit I made a mistake, but before dying, can I please kiss your real face?" Who could refuse this request? Poor Dorian took off the mask, but this was Tina's trick. When she got the chance, Tina kicked the mask hard. The mask flew through the air. Milo caught it. Now Stanley's dog Milo was wearing the mask. He became very dangerous. He started attacking Dorian's people. He tore their shirts and messed them up. "Champion, now it's my turn," Stanley said, taking Milo. Stanley with great difficulty separated the mask from the dog. When he was about to wear the mask, Dorian's men started firing at Stanley. A bullet hit the mask and it flew far away. Stanley quickly ran there and put on the mask. Now Stanley was bulletproof. He had no fear. He drank a glass of juice, but the juice came out from the places where the bullets had hit. Everyone was shocked to see this. After that, Stanley went to Tina. He took the bomb from her body and swallowed it. When the timer on the bomb reached 0, an explosion occurred in his stomach, but due to the power of the mask, nothing happened to Stanley. Then Dorian came to kill Stanley, but Stanley threw him into the water. Then he created a toilet handle on a tree there. On top of the handle, it was written, "Flush." When Stanley turned that handle, Dorian was flushed away in the water. With Dorian gone, the city was saved from his atrocities. Stanley also saved Tina. It was then that the police arrived there. They tried to arrest Stanley. Then a man who was there said, "I am the mayor. Why are you catching this man? He is the one who saved everyone. The real thug has gone somewhere else." The policeman saw Milo going with the mask. He said, "Look, that dog is going with the mask." The mayor said angrily, "Ignore the dog and find that thug." On the mayor's instructions, the police released Stanley and started catching Dorian's gang. The next morning, Stanley, Tina, and Milo reached the same bridge where the mask was found. Near the sea, Stanley said, "This mask gave me a lot of things, but what I need now, this mask will not give." He expressed his love to Tina. "I thought you only loved the version wearing the mask and didn't love the real Stanley," Tina said with a smile. "I like you just the way you are." She took the mask from Stanley's hand and threw it into the sea. "There is no need for this mask anymore," she said.